Do you remember when I told you I was going to marry Leslie?
Don't remember. Who was that girl that used to call you and you'd run out the door?
It wasn't me.
You said, I'm not home, and you'd run out the door as fast as you could, so what could I tell her?
That was the garage door girl. Her dad owned the garage door company. What was his name?
Martin Doors.
Yeah, her name was
Dave
Martin.
Martin Doors.
Anyway, do you remember meeting Dave the first time?
No, don't remember the first time I met him.
What do you remember about our wedding or their wedding or Tony's wedding?
I remember the first time I went with Valerie to try on wedding dresses. That just, when she came out in that wedding dress, I was about to bawl, but I didn't. There's my girl in a wedding dress. And we went to several stores she tried on, and I think she went back to the first store. Got the one that she came out in first, I think, but she might tell you different. I'm not right sure about that. And of course I remember when Tony got married.
Last year.
We won't say too much about that.
Careful, he's going to watch this.
But
He married
Yeah.
a wonderful girl.
I think so.
Do you remember the first time you met Wendy?
I just remember how sweet she was. Like, you could instantly loved her because she was so easy to
Yeah.
talk to.
It
And
must have been on that cruise we all went on. Do you remember we
Oh,
all
yeah.
went on a cruise and we met them
yeah.
someplace? And when he called me on Thanksgiving, called me after you called me, I guess you called him, told him to call
No,
me.
I didn't call and tell him. I didn't
You
talk
had
to
called
him.
him though because he said he had heard from you.
Yeah.
And I said, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? He said, Wendy's cooking a little turkey and we're going to have the regular dinner. But I think the first time I met her was on that cruise, was it, Leslie?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we met her before then, but
They
yes.
didn't leave
Yes,
on-
because she lived here in Bountiful when Tony was here. I think we met her then. Long time ago.
Anyway, they didn't fly with us all together when we all left the airport.
Right.
We met them at some place and she was there.
Mm-hmm.
And she seemed to me like she was more interested in the religious things than Tony was. And I just thought, well, she's probably going to be good for Tony.
We met them at Playa del Carmen after we took the ferry over from Cozumel.
Where there was a lot of steps, stone steps going up to some place. And
Mm-hmm.
I probably got a picture of it in there in my scrapbooks. But
What other vacations do you remember that we took as a family?
I remember DeRay took me to Hawaii for our 30th wedding anniversary. And I said, one day I said, I know what you're planning. You're planning on we're going on a trip to Hawaii. And he said, who told you, Hazel or Norma? And I said, nobody told me. I just had the feeling that that's what you were going to do. And he was upset with me because I had guessed. and it just came to me. And sure enough, he had planned it and everything. And that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
We were coming home. We met some friends while we were over there and had a good time with them.
Who'd you meet?
Well, I can't remember their names. Probably met them on the plane and then
Oh,
palled.
it wasn't people from here, huh?
No, palled around with them. We had lays they put on us when we got off the plane and treated us just royally. And I can't even remember which islands we went to. DeRay could probably tell you in detail, but I just...
What? You were gone 2 weeks. It was like a cruise around all the Hawaiian Islands. I remember
Yeah, we
that.
went to several of them. We went to the... What is it? The
Polynesian.
church, but it's on, the Polynesian Center, and to the temple. I think we did. I don't remember going through the temple, but I think it must have been closed. But we were on the temple grounds, and we had a real nice trip. And then on the way home, we told the pilot or the stewardess or somebody that was our 30th wedding anniversary. So the pilot invited us up to the cockpit and let us see how he was
They
flying
wouldn't
the
do
plane.
that anymore.
Wow.
how he was flying the plane and everything. And
Do you remember any other anniversaries?
D-Ray loved to go on trips.
Mm-hmm.
He would have traveled. He wanted to go down the Panama Canal. We never got to go down there, but I didn't. I mean, I'd just as soon have stayed home, but he liked to travel.
Yeah, I did.
Well, I know every anniversary I used to give him that card that you got a picture.
Yeah.
I just put it away till the next year and then give it to him again. Well, it was the prettiest card you ever saw, and it was.
And the sentiment didn't change, you still loved him.
So
funny.
anyway,
Do you remember any trips we took together as a family?
no. I remember my family, we all got in this car and went to Denver, Colorado to pick up Woodrow
Well, you went,
on his mission.
I'm sure Dad took us all to California a couple of times.
We took each one of our kids, you twice, Valerie twice, and Tony twice. And Tony, he was really good at directions and stuff. We'd get lost, and he'd help D-Ray find the right road.
So did you go to Disneyland when you go to
Oh,
California?
yeah.
Oh.
Garrity went running out in the ocean, turned around, the water hit him, he turned around, come back, bawling. Were Norma and Paul with us? Norma and Paul went with us one time down there, and we went to D-Ray's Uncle Dee's. He had a swimming pool at his home. Went swimming, and there's some pictures of that down there on those. D-Ray had got that video camera, and he took pictures of everybody but him. And when I was trying to watch him, you know, the other day for his birthday to remember what he looked like and acted, and I had to watch 5 or 10 minutes before he would be on the picture, because he was always the one taking the picture. But
Did we show you the video of him cutting the yam with the hammer?
no,
We'll have to show you that.
that's how you cut yams, isn't it? That's how I cut mine the other day before I went up to Valerie's with him.
A knife and a mallet?
Yeah. So, how did you know that?
Got a video of him doing it.
I don't remember a video of anybody
Well,
doing
you
it.
might not
We'll
have
show you.
seen it. It's pretty funny.
But anyway, then all
Well,
my kids
what
got
else about
married
our-
and moved away and left D-Ray and I empty nesters, but that was all right.
So how did you discipline your children?
Well, I remember one time Tony and a Bishop kid, his last name was Bishop, he wasn't the bishop, a Bishop kid, Stanley Bishop, went out there and we had 2 peach trees, and they picked the peaches when they were about that big around. Picked them all and threw them right up under the tree. And I went out there and yelled at those kids and brought Tony in and laid him across the bed and give him a good hard spat. Sent the other kid home. When Ray Jones died, he was Stanley Bishop's uncle. I saw him over at the funeral, and he came up and talked to me. And I said, "Do you remember the day you and Tony picked my peaches?" And he had gray hair, and I thought, my gosh, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. It was a long time ago. That's funny.
I wouldn't have recognized him, but he came up and talked to me, and he remembered that.
Okay, well, let's see.
If Tony had kind of sharp pants on, you know, 'cause he grew so fast there for a while, I couldn't keep. Stanley Bishop would tell him he had flats on, floods.
Yeah.
And Tony would say, "What do you mean floods?" That Stanley would say, "Your pants are too short." He was a couple years older than Tony, I think.
So we were talking about anniversaries. What's your most memorable anniversary?
Going to Hawaii.
What about your 50th?
Yeah, well, yeah, my 50th, but you guys know all about that.
What'd you do for your 50th?
Your grandkids don't know.
We went to the Where did we go, Gary? The roof?
Beehive House?
The roof.
No, it was the Beehive House.
It's the roof.
Remember we had the party and all the kids came to the Beehive House? And it was at Christmas time?
The Beehive House, that was Brigham Young's house. I don't remember
Yeah.
having a,
Yeah, we rented
Anniversary
a
there.
room there.
That wasn't their 50th though.
Yes,
The
it
50th
was.
we went to
No, it
dinner at the roof.
Okay, so which one was the one at the Beehive House?
I don't remember that, Leslie.
Yeah, that was the
I
most
do.
recent one. Was
I
that your
remember that one.
60th?
Probably.
Maybe it was your 60th.
Yeah, I think it was.
Wasn't our 60th, because that's when we went, well, that was D-Ray's birthday. We went to Fostana and he had that big cake with all those
That was his
candles on
80th
it.
birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we went to the Beehive House
Yeah,
and
that
had
was
dinner.
that was the 60th, I think.
Hmm.
Anyway, well,
And then I had my first great-grandchild, and that was exciting, Jacob.
okay, we're gonna talk about those next time.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, next time we'll talk about grandkids. But I think we're done for this time. So.
Now I got a new little girl, so now I got 3 girls.
Yep. Yep. Okay, we'll do that next time. Thanks, Mom. It was great.
You're welcome.